Hey everybody, my name is Dee, and I'm going to share with you a money-saving guide on how to plan a Disney World vacation. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how long this is going to be, so sit back, grab a drink, grab a snack, and just relax. So, before I stress anything else, I want to stress this first tip like crazy. Plan early. The earlier you book your trip, the more money you will save, especially on plane tickets. The flight tickets alone can cost more than the trip itself. So that's crazy because they really do get you on those last minute plane tickets. You can book your hotel on its own, I believe, well over a year if you do call the Disney hotline. And you can add your dining once it's 180 days, I believe, in advance. Although I personally do think it is easier to just book everything in one shot. So know when you want to go well in advance, keep track of your calendar, and when you can book it all online or just call and talk to somebody about booking a Magic Your Way package, book it as soon as it opens up. This will also allow you to make really great dining reservations for those easy fill-up restaurants such as Chef Mickey or Be Our Guest. Tip number 2 is to go in the off season, even with kids. And I know many people, they don't like pulling their kids out of school, which is understandable, but I always tell families who are kind of wondering when they want to go to look at their children's school itinerary or syllabus and see what they're learning at those times a year and try to plan around like the drier areas of learning, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously I wouldn't plan on a testing week or like the week before a big test, like, or an exam. The off season, it does run from January to most of February, August, and September, although you have to keep in mind of the heat, and some of November. Although personally, being from some of the more colder parts, I feel like the trip is more magical when I can escape the winter and go to sunny Florida. So I like to go in January or early February. But once you decide which month you want to go to disneyworld.com, put in all your general information, so how many people you're going to go, like 2 adults, 2 children, how long you want to be in Disney, and just kind of plan on the Magic Your Way calculator on the home page of the website, and then see how much everything will cost on each week of that month. And I know that sounds crazy and tedious, but trust me, I have saved hundreds of dollars by comparing dates. And if that all sounds confusing, I don't blame you. An example would be like checking in on January 4th and then checking out on January 9th can be more expensive than checking in on January 9th and checking out on January 16th. And again, this is something you're going to want to do well in advance so that you have more freedom to compare dates and give work and your kids' schools plenty of notice. So, tip number 3 is get an appropriate amount of tickets for time spent in the park. So, for example, if your plane isn't going to land in Orlando on a Friday night until 8 o'clock, and then like the next week it's leaving Orlando to go home at 7 a.m., the chances are you are not going to be going to the parks that day. So make sure once you decide your flight, before checking out and paying for everything, go back to your tickets and make sure you are not paying for those days. It's an easy way to save a little bit of money. So for example, if including those, it's an 8-day Magic Your Way ticket, make sure you're checking 6 days. So not a crazy amount is going to be saved, but saving some. And do keep in mind, the longer you stay, the less you pay a day for tickets. And tip number 4 is choose where you're staying. Although it may cost less to stay off site, I never recommend it to anybody. And that's just my personal opinion. I think it kills a lot of the magic when you leave the Disney bubble. And this is why, for the most part, I do strongly suggest staying in a value resort. I'm going to be honest, unless you are staying in Disney World for longer than a week or you have like a really big party size, I consider the moderate and higher resorts to be like a waste of money. They're pretty and everything, but the value resorts have any amenity you can need. They have the food court, they have transportation, they have pools, and for most people, they're not staying in their hotels anyway. They are sleeping in them, and that's it, and they're spending most of their time in the parks. So save that extra money for souvenirs or other things. And tip number 5 is decide whether Disney dining will be worth it or not. I know, again, it sounds tedious, but be sure to check out the dining options on the Disney site and look at the menus for what restaurants you are thinking of. And do encourage your other party members to do the same. And if you're finding that you are all going to only want like the cheaper things, like a sandwich and fries or something, then honestly, I don't really suggest the dining plan, or at least the ones that do include the table service meals. They do have one that is quick service only, and I would lean more towards that. Myself, we like to try different things, and I always end up liking to get the more expensive options on the menu so that I can get the most bang for my buck. And if you have different taste buds, though, I just suggest allocating a certain amount of money every day for food if you're not a foodie or if you're just going to get something quick. Disney is bound to satisfy even the pickiest eaters, so don't worry too much about what you would like and what you don't like. They have so many restaurants. And tip number 6 is before leaving for Disney, be sure to pack your own medications, ponchos, and other necessities. Disney does have them available for purchase in case you forget them or something, but you will spend an arm and a leg for them. Like a stick of deodorant, I remember I forgot one trip and I spent like $7 on deodorant. So it is okay to over-prepare. You never know what is going to happen. One year, unfortunately, most of the people, like most of my family, we all got sick. So Pepto-Bismol was definitely needed among everybody. And that, again, is something you would pay like $14 or $15 for at the hotel store. So prepare for anything. Tylenol, cold medication, antihistamines, all of that stuff. And the last tip that I am almost going to stress more than the first one is understand that Disney is not a cheap holiday. I really wish it was, but for most people, this is not going to be a $500 vacation. And the sad reality is that every year Disney's prices are going to hike up a little bit. But with that said, it is worth every single penny. Whether young or old, Disney has plenty to please and entertain everybody. And throughout your stay, do not count the dollar signs. Do not worry about money. Just immerse yourself in the magic. And although I do hope my tips helped you save a few extra dollars for Dole Whips, don't expect it to save like 50% of what the trip is going to cost. Unfortunately, I just don't have that kind of Disney magic yet. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you, and have a magical day.